This is hell. It didn't have to be like this.
Why are you filming?
Because I'm making a YouTube video.
Ellie doesn't cook.
Dan worked in the restaurant business for a decade. It didn't mean anything.
Those are apples.
Don't tell my mom I messed up. We messed up.
We got the pie.
We didn't get sugars.
We didn't get pecans.
You're gonna learn what I wish I'd known before we started this whole thing. You're gonna prepare the perfect Thanksgiving.
What do you think the first thing is? Of all the things that might have gone wrong, what do you think is the most important thing to begin with?
Not trying to do Thanksgiving shopping and grocery shopping at the same time. Because that was just convoluted everything.
Right. Okay, so you go with a mission. A Thanksgiving mission.
Yes.
Create the menu. Decide on what you're going to make. Think about your guests. Think about what they like. You can chat with them. See if anything's on or off the menu necessarily. Mm-hmm. And then decide on those items. Turkey, Brussels sprouts, sweet potato casserole, pecan pie, and Carla is bringing the apple strudel. She didn't tell you how she made it, did she?
No, but I told her that it sounded like heroin of the South.
Yeah, I think the definitive thing for us was we kind of had an idea of what we were going to make.
Yeah.
And we kept adding to it and changing our minds, and we also didn't know quantities, which is another issue. Mm-hmm. So I think deciding and just locking that down before you go shopping is a good thing.
Once you decide what you're going to make, you have to find and stick to your recipe.
Oh, you mean like choosing an actual recipe and using just that recipe and not 3 different recipes for pumpkin pie?
That's exactly right.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Well, in my defense, I did screenshot each recipe that we were going to use, but I never referred back to them.
Ah, that would be useful.
Yeah. Maybe that was part of the problem.
Brussels sprouts.
Turkey, Brussels. We don't have the rest of the recipe for the Brussels sprouts, so we'll...
I'm going to have to improvise because I don't know. Or I could phone my mum.
Yeah.
I can phone my mum.
Yeah. Once you've decided all the things that you need to go shopping for, check to see what you have in stock.
Because we assumed that we had lots of stuff and we didn't have it in the end, and vice versa. So we ended up with other stuff. Even down to spices.
Especially spices. Because Thanksgiving, there are things that you're making that you don't make any other time of the year. So they may be left over from last year, which is kind of gross. But...
cloves might be okay.
Yeah.
But we ran out of cloves. We didn't have cloves.
Yeah.
So we improvised.
Allspice.
Yeah,
anyway.
Oh, and once you make your list, you only take something off the list if you can confirm that you've got the right amount of it already in stock. Otherwise, it stays on your list.
Granny Smith's that we'll throw in. And we should have enough onion. Yeah, we don't need a ton. We just want aromatics.
Okay, so that brings us on to quantities, for which we need an expert. So tell us about quantities.
For every recipe, you're going to have a quantity. It'll tell you how many it makes. It should be right at the top of the recipe.
How many servings you get for the amounts that are listed in the ingredients. Yeah.
For that particular recipe.
Right.
Absolutely. Everything from stuffing to mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, the pies, the green bean casserole, how many dinner rolls people may or may not eat, and of course, the turkey.
The turkey. Yes. How do you know how many people your turkey's going to serve?
Well, it tells you roughly, but we tend to ask Siri or... Hey Siri, how long does it take to cook a 20-pound turkey?
Okay, I found this on the web. For how long does it take to cook a 20-pound turkey? Check it out.
Well, what I found interesting from the the research that we did after the event, they say go for £2 per person, but that's £2 in the cooked in the turkey, the raw turkey, which takes into account the bones and the innards and all that kind of thing. But then when they're saying it's boneless meat, it's only 8 ounces or something that you need to
Right.
budget for.
8 ounces sounds like a lot less than half a pound, but that's what it is. But if we're planning on leftovers, that's a typical Thanksgiving thing.
You want to
We want a little bit more than that.
so what, 50% double it? Or?
Yeah, I'd go 50% more, depending on who you're feeding.
Right.
Who's going to be eating it later, Little kids, college kids, friends, depends.
Yeah.
And how much you love your turkey.
Yeah, I don't like turkey.
Okay.
Particularly after my mum traumatized us. So she bought was it 50-pound turkey or something? It was so big, they had to take the legs off, and she had to cook the legs separately because it wouldn't fit in the oven. It's all she could do to get it into the car, and we had a big car at the time because there were lots of kids at home. So anyway, she was still defrosting turkey from the freezer in July to give us tea and turkey sandwiches and stuff like that. So
that's what put you off turkey.
yeah, not a fan.
And that's too much.
Right.
A 40 or 50-pound turkey for your family?
6 people.
6 people.
Yeah.
Okay. We had 6 people. We did a 20-pound turkey, and we had a ton left over.
Yeah, we sent people home with.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other interesting things that when we were doing the research was the idea of cooking 2 small birds because they'll cook more evenly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like if you need it for that many people.
That's right.
So we could have done like 2 10-pound birds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could have seasoned them differently.
Oh, yeah, that's a point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the things that I struggled with was knowing how much a cup of something was, or like I kind of also needed clarification on teaspoon and tablespoon. Like a tablespoon isn't a dessert spoon.
Right.
So we kind of eyeballed those things as well, really. We guessed.
Yeah.
So I think getting actual measuring things, like measuring cups for cups and spoons and stuff, is the way to go.
That we have purchased since then.
We have, yes. So next time, if we ever do this again, I think the other thing is to get used to writing things out and multiplying things up and deciding, what are the actual quantities. So some of it takes a little bit more maths than most people are used to doing in their heads. So sometimes you're not just doubling a recipe. So for the shopping preparation thing, you need to have your items listed, then you need to list your quantities, but your quantities need to have been worked out ahead of time. And so for something like butter, and we're going to talk about butter in a moment, but at the very basic recipe level, you'll have butter in a pie and butter in the rolls that you're making, for instance. And so you need to add those together. So you need to work them out, then add them together, and then work out how many packets of butter you need. So there's a little bit of working things through that's not just,
right.
Oh, whoa, I just need 2 pounds of butter. That's what you said, and you were right, but you've got experience. But
Right.
for someone who's trying to do everything from scratch, it's a little bit more complicated. So I think writing stuff down is another hack to getting it right. Tell us about butter.
Butter is particularly important because butter is in everything.
Right.
It's in the pies. It's in a variety of recipes. You'll see. But in addition to that, you put butter on the dinner rolls. People put butter on their potatoes, on their veggies, and you will use butter in the future because it's delicious. So get more. No matter what your final tally is, get more.
All right, so
You'll
what?
need it. And if you burn something or there's a mistake made along the way, back up with the butter, since it's in everything.
Okay. So what, an extra pound of butter?
Sure.
For Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, absolutely. An extra pound should be more than enough.
The next hack is to order everything online, which was my tendency to do for everything. And having gone through this process, I think it's a really good idea.
And having gone through this process many times in the past and not ordering online, I am a convert.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Preparation is important because of all the trips that we made. And we do not want to do that again. But then if there is something that comes up along the way, then you're making a trip.
Yes.
Instead of how many trips did we make?
Too many. Don't. It's embarrassing.
Like we're going to the grocery store.
It didn't have to be like this.
Lots of fun if you haven't done it for a while. No one will leave pickles.
With the weirdos.
Well,
we still have stuff to do, don't we? Oh, so we're not done yet.
one last item.
Okay. This is a lot of stuff to have forgotten.
Oh,
Pecans.
And we might need more skunk cabbage. The little guys. Brussels sprouts.
Skunk cabbage. We got everything we need for gravy.
Yeah.
Are you sure? They've got extra cheap packets here.
I will not.
You want cheap? Home for Rick and Morty?
Absolutely. So we are back shopping once again in the fine Thanksgiving tradition of getting some of the stuff that you forgot last time.
Okay. And do you have the list? Is it on the kitchen table? It's on the kitchen table, isn't it? Still here. We've got more shopping.
We've got a few more things to get, but that's okay. That's
I have no opinion. I don't care. I'm too tired.
All right.
I want to go home and watch Rick and Morty.
Bingo. All right, let's get this done, baby.
All right.
All right, we got the pie.
We didn't get sugars.
We didn't get pecans.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, but we're going home to watch Rick and Morty. Next. Now.
Amen. Okay. So this is a lesson well learned.
Because I always used to order online and I never went to a supermarket for about 7 years, people would bitch at me and go, oh, how come you could do it? So I've heard like all the objections for not doing your shopping online.
Okay.
So,
as a recent convert, I will address.
okay, excellent.
Concern.
What if they don't have what I want?
What if one particular store doesn't have what you want? You order from another one.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
I want to support my local grocery store.
Well, how local is your local grocery store?
This is my point. So most of these people are still going to things like Target or Ralph's or whatever. You're supporting the conglomerates,
Right.
basically. Okay, I've got one more objection.
Okay.
Online is more expensive.
Not that much more usually. And how much is your time worth?
Yeah.
And how much of your time do you plan on going back and forth to the grocery store?
Right.
And you've got other things to do.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Watching Rick and Morty.
Cleaning up for your guests who are going to arrive.
Oh, yes, of course, cleaning up.
That's what we meant.
Okay. Oh, sage one.
Mhm.
Any last bits of advice for us newbies?
Easily, one thing that you can do to make your life easier is to cook things ahead of time. Those things you can. Now, obviously, the turkey cannot be cooked ahead of time. That dominates.
I tried to talk you into it, though.
Yeah, no.
You weren't having it.
No, because it's tough enough to keep it tender and juicy as it is. You don't want to be reheating it in the oven. But turkey, fresh and hot out of the oven, okay? There'll be a little bit of time before the baking time. I mean, the baking time for our 20-pound turkey was 4 hours. And then we gave it a little bit more. So think about that on Thanksgiving Day. 4 hours where that oven's, you're not going to be able to put anything else in unless you have a ginormous oven, and most people don't.
Right, that's a good point. So even warming stuff up was...
That's right. So the
Crazy.
Oven's going to be
I didn't know that
hot,
happened.
so you're going to be able to put things in, but you have to, you don't carve the turkey until about, you let it set for about 30 minutes. So
After you take it out.
after you take it out.
Okay.
Okay, because if you cut into the turkey right out of the oven, the juices just seep out and it dries out very quickly.
Oh.
Okay, particularly for the turkey breast, that's the part that dries out the most easily.
I heard something about this recently on Twitter, now X, and it was about the steaks, like steaks that people have barbecued. You have to let them sit on the plate afterwards.
That's right. So all meats.
This is a thing.
This is the thing. So they all have to sit. So those the juices get reabsorbed into the muscle, into the proteins.
Okay.
So you're going to need to let it sit, and you can put some things in after you take the turkey out.
So that's what you did.
Right. So sweet potato casserole can be done ahead of time. The green beans can be done ahead of time. The macaroni and cheese can be done ahead of time. They can all be sitting in your fridge. And before you even before you take the turkey out of the oven, you can take these items out of the fridge if you have the space on your counters, on top of your fridge, wherever. But take them out and let them start to get to room temperature. And then once the turkey goes out, all these items go in. So your turkey's hot and all your sides are hot.
At the same time.
At the same time.
That's how you
As
do it.
if you cooked them and they were all magically created at once.
I always wondered how that would happen. One other thing to mention, the turkey needs time to defrost as well.
Ooh, Lord, yeah. Usually you get it, it's frozen solid, so picture a 20-pound ball of ice.
It was, yeah.
So we got it a week ahead of time.
A week? We did actually get it a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
I thought the turkey needed 3 days to defrost.
At least 3 days.
So we defrosted it for 7 days, did we?
Right.
Okay.
Right. 7 days, a solid chunk of ice isn't going to thaw out in your fridge in 3 days. So
Okay.
we needed
Did we leave it in the fridge then?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
we did.
You would have thought I would
There's
have
that
clocked
large white packaged item sitting over on the side.
I didn't notice. But then I only go to the door for the half and a half, and that's about it. Okay, so yes, and then you put your hand in it, and you were like, "Oh, there's still ice here," but it thought it was just there was a bit of ice still left there.
Which is a good sign, just because you know that it's just above freezing.
I intend that this video has been helpful. As always, your eyeballs have been super appreciated. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
Okay, which one is it?
So we were just in Total Wine.
I got ID'd. She wasn't going to sell us non-alcoholic wine or beer
Yeah.
because apparently
Yeah.
I don't look 40.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's what she said.
40.
Uh-huh. Well, she said that, and after she got approval from her manager, because she couldn't approve that on her own, she did compliment Ellie and say that she did not look 40. Whereupon Ellie repeated the story of my students telling me that I'm a pimp because they saw a picture of Ellie and I, and they said Ellie looks like she's 20.
But anyway, you need to explain what pimp means because
Well,
you didn't.
Yeah, I was not.
Pimp doesn't mean
No, that
what you think it means anymore.
I'm not enforcing, and you're not for hire, and
But it means ladies' man, right?
that's exactly right.
In the new vernacular.
In the fairly new vernacular.
Right.
So the question was of stuffing or dressing, and we do stuffing dressing. Just if you stuff the bird, it's stuffing. If it's outside, it's dressing.
Okay.
I mean, just
Would it make a
traditionally.
distinction?
Would I just call it stuffing? Yes. What is the distinction? Okay. I think that's been corrected.
By who?
I don't know.
Is it an English person?
Oh, no.
Fucking English people always correcting American language.
Yeah, probably an English teacher, which may be.